Hello everyone, I'm Nompumelelo Phiri.
And I'm Bakile Njobo.
We're looking at the spectrum of light emitted by corona. Corona is a luminous partial discharge that occurs on high voltage equipment. It is known to emit UV radiation due to photon emission. Photons are created by processes such as photoemission, electron attachment, recombination, and reverse process. In the corona emission spectrum, a wavelength shift between peaks may be observed. This is known as the stack effect. The objective of the project is to measure the corona emission spectrum in air and identify elements that contribute to its spectral footprint.
Okay, there are two experimental setups that are used to generate both AC and DC corona. These corona are measured using an optical detection system, which consists of an ultraviolet lens, a cosine corrector, an optic fiber, and a spectrometer. The electrodes that are used in corona generation have a 1 mm, 150 mm, and 9.8 cm tip diameter.
According to literature, the corona emission spectrum is expected to have 14 peaks within a wavelength range of 200 and 320 nanometers. These peaks are due to excited nitrogen gas molecules.
According to our obtained results, the emission spectrum was measured for positive DC, negative DC, and AC corona. The results are shown here for the rod sphere configuration. In addition, a comparison between the positive and negative DC corona at 11 kV was done. As can be seen here, the intensity of the negative DC corona is greater than that of a positive DC corona.
From the obtained results, 11 of the identified peaks correspond to 6 that are from literature. 8 of the missing ones are due to ozone absorption, and the 9 peaks that were observed experimentally but don't correspond to literature are due to impurities that exist in air, such as nitric oxides. The higher intensity of peaks in the negative DC corona emission spectrum is due to the electron and recombination processes. The stack effect was not observed.
In addition, the emission spectrum of ultracorona was observed. It is shown here. It was found that it occurs in a narrow wavelength band, which is less than 210 nanometers, and the intensity is quite low. These were unexpected results, and it would be very interesting if further studies were done on this. In conclusion, the emission spectrum for the wavelength between 200 nanometers and 320 nanometers was done for both positive and negative DC and AC corona. The obtained results in air show that there are nitric oxide impurities and that ozone absorbs some of the wavelengths that were expected from literature. So the equipment that was used in the lab is shown here. This is the electrode setup where corona is generated from the tip of this electrode. The light from this corona goes through the ultraviolet biconvex lens, which is then focused onto one point on the cosine corrector. This light goes through the optic fiber, which is connected to the spectrometer, and the spectrometer processes the light that is the obtained light and shows the graph or the emission spectrum in a laptop. Thank you.
We would like to acknowledge Dr. John Bankola for the guidance and the counsel that he offered us. Thank you.